leadership, cross-cultural context and international assignees, current scenario in international training and development of international staff, types of expatriate training, sensitivity training. Here, I will be discussing about why an expatriate need to be trained as a global leader. So, what are the cross-cultural context and international assignment context that need to be met while training an expatriate, and what are the present scenario in international training and development and the training and development of such expatriates and the types of such training. So before we understand the training aspects, let us discuss about the background information. See, the training process of the domestic HRM is entirely different from training of an expatriate. Why? Because in domestic HRM, the training will be offered based on the need, the requirement, where we have two types of training, one as conventional and modern training methods. The conventional training methods, again, that is based on the values and beliefs of the organization, and the modern methods they go based on the need. But here in IHRM, that is in order to build a team with international orientation and committed and competent people who will support the organization's strategic business and enhancing core competencies of organization needs, training and development. Means here the global manager or an expatriate has to fulfill the organizational strategic business and other competencies organization needs through training and development. Means the HR should have the planning in such a way that they have to fulfill the needs of organizational requirements. So usually, because we have in the initial discussions we have discussed that because of the free trade barriers and globalization, nowadays we have many MNCs uh, operating, and we could see the expatriation, and the companies are going for expatriation. And today we have the world market, the world brands, the world standards, and we are trying to meet the world customers. So that is the scenario. So in this regard, so in order to have an effective functioning, the MNCs, their work, the effectiveness depends on the expatriates' performance. To have such good performance, effective performance by an expatriate, the training is very much essential. So today, the current scenario, the statistics says that the MNCs are incurring around 200, around 600 crores per annum. So, statistics based on the survey conducted said that the MNCs are spending around 600 crores on the training of the expatriates. That is in 2010, and in 2004 it was around 200 crores. So an increase of 400 crores in a span of 5 to 6 years we can see. Just imagine what would be the preference, or what is the need of such a training process. So because of that, today we have going for the MNCs are thinking about the training, that is corporate training, importance of corporate training. So that is with the worldwide expansion of companies and changing technologies, Indian organizations have realized the importance of corporate training. Training is considered as more of retention tool than a cost. Means it is considered as a tool than as cost. Here, MNCs cannot think as it is an investment. Yes, of course, it is an investment, but the investment is very much essential. So, they have to think about the training of the employees, the staff. Now, let us understand the training and development of international staff. MNCs spend substantial amount of money on training and development of employees. Cost of expatriate failure is very high, which organizations cannot bear. So, selecting a right person and providing them with appropriate training before their departure as well as on arrival in a particular country is very important. That is because the MNCs are spending such huge amount on training that such training should not go as waste. It could be waste when the failure of an expatriate is seen. That is, cost on the expatriate failure is very high, and the organizations cannot bear that. So, selecting the right person for such departures is very important. So, these are the requirements or prerequisites which makes the training process very vital. In MNCs, usually the types of expatriate training we could see are the language training, cultural awareness program, low rigor training, and high rigor training. Language training or the training where an expatriate will be offered moderate to intense level of language training in order to make them to learn the country specific language. Say for example, if an expatriate is moving to Paris or UK, then knowing the French is very important. So that cultural preferences make the expatriate to manage the situations smoothly. So, such language training will be planned and offered to the expatriate based on the intensity. Like just a basic understanding of the language is enough, or an intense requirement of understanding is there. That is, um it also depends on the duration of the assignment. If it is for long term, then a good knowledge on the language is very much required. That is, an advanced level of language training will be offered to the expatriate. The second one is cultural awareness program. So the again during the staffing, we discussed about uh, the criteria that need to be met for selection of an expatriate. That is with respect to cultural awareness programs. So the training on understanding the cultures of the different countries by an expatriate is very important, and such cultural awareness programs need to be planned and offered. So here such a training will be through an interaction with the workforce of the different MNCs subsidiary, or by showing video on the cultures of the subsidiaries, the cultural aspects of the people working in subsidiary or in that specific country, the cultural aspects with respect to the living conditions, living style, the people preferences, their food habits, their general beliefs, attitudes, values, and the seasonal changes, the festivals, their etiquettes, like that. So, all such inputs will be provided during this training because they need to understand their values and beliefs accordingly. So, that also helps an expatriate to uh, work in an effective way. And the next type of training is low rigor training. So, this low rigor training is nothing but it depends on the intensity of training, that is on the duration. If the assignment is for short term, it is called as low rigor training, and if the assignment is for long term, it is called as high rigor training. And in case of low rigor training, that is if the expatriation is for maybe few weeks or for a maximum of 1 month, then the training with respect to language or culture need not be intensive. Just a moderate training is enough. So that is helpful to the HR to understand and prepare the content accordingly. And high rigor training is the training that is based on the duration. If the assignment is for long term, it is called as high rigor training. So that in that condition, an intensive language and cultural awareness programs are required. So these are certain conditions and prerequisites need to be decided by the HR. That is the types of training, and once the HR decide the types of training, then the different methods of training can be analyzed. That is the different training methods available are reviewing available information about the host country, that is through books, magazines, videotapes, and conversation with host country natives, sensitivity training, temporary assignments. The training can be offered through, that is by having an interaction based on the information that has been gathered through the books, magazines, and videotapes of the subsidiaries of different countries, and by organizing a conversation with host country natives, then sensitivity training, then temporary assignments. The sensitivity training is a type of training where usually that will be offered by an expert, and it will be more into the behavioral aspects of an employee expatriate, that is to mold or understand the behavioral aspect of an employee. Such a type of training will be offered. Suppose if there are any kind of misunderstandings or ego and issues related to the personality of an individual's ego, the nature of an individual, where because of that the achievement could not be possible, there is no improvement or performance because of ego clashes, there is no support, coordination, like that. So in order to eliminate such things, this type of training will be conducted. And again, training in the form of a preliminary visit, by making an expatriate to visit initially for for a week or 2 weeks, to understand the conditions over there in the subsidiary. On a temporary assignment, preliminary visit will be arranged. So that is also a type of training, a method of training. Through that, the expatriate will can understand what is the situation there, and later may think about accepting or not to accept. So these are the different training methods that is offered to the expatriate. So these are the general training methods, and we'll be discussing about the training to an HCN, then career development, repatriate training, and developing international staff and multinational teams, and knowledge transfer in such MNCs. So these are the associated concepts in training. So once we fulfill these conditions, that is the type of training and method of training, then we actually go for the training of an expatriate. Here we'll be discussing the training of HCN and also TCNs. PCNs may not require such intensive training as they generally know aware about the parent company's needs and requirements. So the HCN training includes pre-departure training, that is use of mixture of methods makes evaluation of which method is most effective difficult to isolate, and a large diversity of cultures also involved in HCN training. And in the same way, TCN training also will be done based on the suitability of the methods and the need. Once the training programs are offered, then the HR need to think about the career development aspect. So because along with training, the career development also need to be done by the HR to the expatriates. Why? Because of the benefits like international assignments as a training and development tool. And expatriates are the trainers, and expatriates show how systems and procedures work, ensure adoption, and monitor performance of HCNs. International assignments, a form of job rotation. Because of these tendency or because of these understanding, career development will be planned to the expatriates. So the career development component contents includes it will be generally about social and business etiquettes and history, making them to understand the history and folklore about the current affairs, including relations between the host country and the parent country, cultural values and priorities, about geography, especially its major cities, sources of pride and great achievements of the culture, religion and the role of religion in daily life. So these are the career oriented development programs. And also here we come across a concept called as repatriate training. Once the expatriate successfully complete the task, then he or she will be returning. And at that time, again, they need to be trained in order to come out from the cultural shocks and other environment adjustment issues, working condition adjustment issues. Training is designed for the relocating assignee and family, cultural differences or cultural shock, business life, daily life, specifics. The training occurs for a period of over 8 to 12 hours. And how to develop such international staff and multinational teams, that is uh, the management development programs. Here, a new range of jobs, tasks, and challenges, financial gain, and career advancement uh, will be provided under management development. And in organizational development, fosters innovation, organizational learning, and transfer of knowledge, assists breaking down of functional and national boundaries, encourages diverse inputs. The knowledge transfer in multinational companies are knowledge transfer, that is one way movement of methods from headquarter to foreign subsidiaries. Reverse knowledge transfer, that is from subsidiary to headquarter is increasing. The concept, the information has been drawn from the prescribed and reference books given by the university, which has been mentioned in the table.